right, a very, very bright morning right from Aurora City. I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world, but you are really most welcome to the Kokoliriko live show on Western Television. My name is FARISH Majid, channel 0073 on Zuku and online from wherever you chose to watch us from. This is really the show that you must not miss, and this is where we always come each and every mornings. That is from the hour of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and really this is also where we let you know of some of the insights also in what is happening in the corridors of current affairs. And that is one reason you must always not miss the show, because surely this is the show that is going to have an impact on you. That is in terms of being informed, that is of what is happening in the world of current affairs. And remember, so many things happened yesterday and the other day, and really this is something I must also really say we are going to be letting you know right from the region and nationally and also internationally. And one reason you must not miss the show is that reason, because surely we are here to keep you informed and let you know of what is happening. And surely this is also one reason you must always watch the show each and every mornings. And in a special way, we want to thank whoever watches us, that is every day, and keeping it locked. That is one reason we always say asante sana. You must always be watching us, because surely if you want to know what is happening in the region, then Western Television Kokoliriko live show is the #1 answer for you to also be a part of. And surely for those of you watching us that is in Western sub-region, we say thank you so much. That is in parts of Moyo, Bongia, Jumani, Yumbe, Terego, Madiokolo, Maracha, and the other parts, Zombo, Nebi, and Pakwach, and not forgetting the other districts really also where you chose to watch us. We say thank you so much, because Western sub-region is one district that we say comprises of 13 districts, and really all this, if you are choosing to watch us from all these 13, we say thank you so much. And really for those of you also watching us that is in Lango sub-region, we say thank you, congratulations, you are the winners of the third drum. We say we are still celebrating with you, because we are the same people, because sure you realize that all of us are still in the northern part of the country, and that is one reason we must always also celebrate if a brother is winning. And that is one reason also really we must not always fight amongst ourselves, because we're the same people. And then not forgetting those of you watching us from Acholi sub-region, we also say thank you, you're our brothers still. And not forgetting also those within, that is Karamoja sub-region, we say we are one. And really, and the other parts of the world, for those of you watching us that's in Central, we say thank you, you're most welcome. And not forgetting those of you also catching us that's in Bunyoro sub-region, where you chose to watch. Maybe it could be in Budisa, it could be in Masindi, it could be in Hoima, maybe Fort Portal also. We say thank you so much always for watching Western Television, because definitely this is the #1 place for you to always be watching. And now, yesterday we did have also the games, that is for us coming to a close, where we also witnessed a lot of tear gas. And really all this is an unfortunate incident, but I will be letting you know what exactly, maybe what school won the games later on in the due course of the show, that is in the evening of the show, because usually we summarize the discussions with what is happening in the world of sports, because surely that is also one reason you must always be watching the show, because surely if you do not watch Western Television, then definitely you may not be knowing of what is happening in the region, because this is definitely the only place where you have access to what is happening right from the region. That is in terms of also really television, because we are the #1 television. We are the only one really, and I must say that must be the reason for you to always be watching us right from the comfort of your homes, and really from the comfort of your bed. For those of you who are still on bed, but we say wake up and also go start hustling for your daily needs, because if you are still in that bed, then definitely the needs that you may want to achieve in the due course of the day may not be there, because usually we have that saying, the early bird is the one that catches the fly. So if you are still in bed, my brother, my sister, who is a hustler, please wake up and go start looking for the monies that really you maybe also need to sustain your life. Because if you continue to be in that bed, definitely nobody is going to bring it to you on that bed. It is you to also go start hustling, irrespective of what you do. Really, that is one reason I also must say you must also leave that bed and start looking for the money, that really the money which everybody is in need of. That definitely tells us why you must also really be waking up and leaving that bed also, and leave that home and step out and to maybe where you do your hustles. That is also something I must say we must ensure that we do each and every mornings, because if you wake up early, definitely you're also going to wake up very, very well there, because a person who wakes up early is one that wakes up and organizes and plans for how maybe the day is going to be running. But if you are still in bed up to now, you may also get disorganized a little bit later there. So I think I want to implore and call upon each and everybody to ensure that really if you are waking up, then definitely you must leave that bed now, because at the end of the day, if you do not want to wake up right now, the rains that we are seeing unstable may also really come and disrupt your activities here and there, which would also really have a negative repercussions. Now to start off the discussions with what is happening at the NRM, I must say the NRM voter registration update exercise has been extended. and really you realize that the exercise that really did take place within this month, that was from the 13th to the 17th, really didn't go on well, and most of the reasons where people were saying is that they were not involved, and that is one reason I must also say that did go on really with the party there, where some people were saying they have not been involved, and that is one reason actually why the exercise went as it was, where we did see the low turnout in most of the polling centers where these people were seated, and really where these agents also really come to also wait for the voters, something which we say was not really very well there. But now there's hope maybe for those who missed. NRM party is giving them the second chance, because most of the people actually did not maybe participate in this verification exercise, and this is according to information we got. And one reason actually this exercise didn't go on well is said because it is said that really it was non-involvement, where some few stakeholders were only involved. Most of the leaders, maybe those who affiliated the party, say they were not involved, and that is one reason actually why the exercise didn't go on very well there. And this is one reason now that we are seeing the party also coming out clearly to extend the days now until the month of May, and really this is where we're going to be seeing the party, maybe party members who did not participate in this exercise also really taking part here really. And I must say, in some of the parts where we did see them actually taking place, in Dokolo for instance, we have been told really the exercise went on well, but it is when it came to voting, it went the other side, where we were expecting maybe the NRM candidate to win because they participated in the vetting maybe also process. This did not really also materialize, and where people were also expecting the daughter of the falling legislator, that is Cecilia Ogwal's daughter, really to go through, and so many things where people were expecting really did not go. Media was one candidate, and really also to see that they gave more light and really not also giving assessment of what was on ground, because most of the focus was on Rosemary Ogwal, the daughter to Cecilia Ogwal, and really most of the emphasis was centered around her, and this is the reason as to why people were perceiving, and then people were also thinking that she would be the one to go through, and this is something that which really did not go to the expectations of most people, most especially those who are out of Dokoro. And the way they decided is that they voted for the UPC candidate. Really, this is something that which was really against and contrary to what most people were expecting, most especially those who are outside Lango sub-region. But really, I must say, maybe for those who know the history of that area, you will not be surprised, because you realize that the UPC party has its roots that is in that area there, and recently also where we did see elections that is for the fallen minister who was gunned down by the bodyguard, and really we also did see the same incident happening where the son also lost, that is to one of the UPC candidates there. So I think there is something that is really happening there which people need to understand. Really also that now UPC may be also fixing its roots that is slowly in Lango sub-region in terms of regaining its glory. So I think that is something also really we did see happening. It was a surprise to many, though it wasn't surprising to me, and because really I do understand that the UPC actually hails from there, and really this is where we have seen it happening, and really you will also really copy maybe an example from what is happening within the National Unity Platform. You will realize that also where it hails from, maybe that is where in Buganda, most of the members of parliament from that area are actually NUP affiliated. So I think that is one reason as to why we are also seeing that, and really this is now one thing that we also really need to have an impact assessment on, because you realize that maybe origin is also playing its part. Could it be that way? I don't know. I'm leaving that into your hands. Maybe you can also tell us, is that the truth? Because really it may be my own opinion, but couldn't it be the reality? And this is one thing I also want to now extend to you and also ask your views on, because you realize that the verification exercise did go on very well. Amid this low turnout in most of the centers, really, where these agents were waiting for the voters, and really most of the party members were actually shunned the exercise, and others maybe shunned it for different reasons. But really, that is one thing I must say is happening right from the region and nationally, and that is also what maybe for the party supporters who missed the exercise, it is the second chance for you to also really engage and participate in the verification exercise, so that maybe you're not excluded from the party's affairs. That would also really be very good for you at the end of the day, also to be recognized as a real party member. Because if you not really also engage in the party activities, for instance, this one here, you would be excluded. Maybe you would be taken as a mole, because you realize that so many things happen within these political parties, really, if people do not see you participating in, definitely that would also really be very, very unfortunate for you there. So I think that is where we want some other discussion with, and now we want to say, for those of you who are in that area, definitely there's a lot that you need to do, also in terms of addressing maybe solutions to that problem there. And now we're also seeing vetting of the members, newly appointed members of parliament, many ministers going on, and really where we're seeing them stepping one at a time to parliament to also face that is the vetting committee, to see that if they are really maybe vetted as really the ministers, because these are ministers designate who have not yet been sworn in and who have not yet also been vetted. So they were just appointed by the president, who upon also has to hand over the powers to parliament also now to ensure that these newly appointed ministers are vetted. And notable among those whom we have seen yesterday also storming parliament for vetting is the newly appointed State Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, that is in charge of Youth and Children Affairs. That is none other than Honorable Minister Balaam Baruch Hagara. Really, we did see him actually storming parliament, smartly dressed, not in his usual attire, the t-shirt, but this time around we are seeing him donning, that is the blue suit, really with the cream shirt, really looking smartly dressed there, and accompanied by our own, that is Honorable Member of Parliament for Arua Central Division, who is actually also the Northern Region Coordinator, that is for the Patriotic League Uganda, really with PLU, who is actually the coordinator, and the area member of parliament for Arua Central Division actually accompanying, that is none other than Honorable Minister Balaam there. And this is none other than also Honorable Atima Jackson Buti. Somebody may also be asking, who exactly am I talking about? This is none other than Honorable Atima Buti Jackson, whom we did see accompanying, that is the Honorable Minister designate, that is for Children and Youth Affairs, also really going to Parliament there, and really we say that is something we did see also happening very, very well there. And not forgetting also our own Fiona Nyamutoro, the Minister who is being appointed, that is in charge of energy, and we also really did see her also being accompanied to Parliament there by the colleagues, and really that is something we are seeing. I don't know how long the exercise will take, but really I must say this is something also really we are seeing going on, and really how will it take place, and then how will it go on? That is something I also don't know, but I must say we are following up on until maybe the last person is vetted, because after appointments, the names have to be submitted to Parliament, and they have to face the vetting committee of Parliament where they will be approved. And if Parliament denies, really we would also see these ministers being thrown out, because if you remember also during the last ministerial appointments, there were some who were thrown out because of maybe their past, maybe also past allegations. And also we did see others going through amidst the several accusations here and there, because you realize that some of these four ministers that we have today, we are actually maybe also pinned before being appointed and vetted by the Parliament. So I think that is something also really we did see going on there, but really we shall be able to also really follow that discussion till the last drop. But what do you think? Do you think these ministers are worthy also being vetted by Parliament? And who do you think needs not to be vetted by Parliament there? That is something really we must also really ask you as the viewer out there, because when these names were announced, and really when the president came out to pronounce these names, several people also expressed several opinions, and really mixed reactions were shared by the members of public, and really also some of the names that did appear on this list here. And those who are dropped, really we did see also commenting there, but I must say that is one thing also really we shall be able to follow, because at the end of the day we may also want to let you know who exactly has not been vetted and who exactly maybe was vetted. Maybe why would these people not be vetted? That is also something that we shall be able to also let you know on the Kokoliriko live show each and every mornings, because that is the reason why you need to be watching us, because each and every mornings, right from the hour of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. we are here to let you know of what exactly is happening, that is right from the region, nationally and internationally. We do not exclude our stories, really. That is one thing you must always be watching us for. And moving away from that, there's an accident that happened where we did see 3 people die after a truck plunges into Lake Victoria, and that is something also really we did see happening there. Quite unfortunate. That is something I must say is very much tragic that happened. That is in Namayingo district, where in eastern Uganda, where we did see 3 people who have been confirmed dead. That is in Namayingo district in eastern Uganda, after a Fuso truck they were traveling and plunged into Lake Victoria. And really this is something we must say is very, very unfortunate, and really we want to call upon the drivers to be very, very much careful on these roads, more so when they are traveling with us. And really you realize that these folk would be traveling for their different needs, but due to an accident, really, which we say is a sudden unexpected happening. Now they die after their truck really plunges into that river, Lake Victoria there. So I think for those who don't really know how to swim, it will be very, very much unfortunate for them there. And really, this is something we did see happening. And police say the crash happened. That's at Bomeru landing site. That's in Mutumba sub-county after the braking system of the speeding truck registration number, that is UAY 233S, failed to brake. So I think this is something also really we did see happening there. And 2 bodies were retrieved from the water body, while the 3rd body is still underway. That's to Health Center 3. So I think as we are still looking for the other body, really you realize that so many things are still going on. And Nanda will say on Mondays, the bodies were taken to, that is Buyinja Health Center 4 in Amayengo district for post-mortem as investigations into the matter continue. So I think really this is something we must also really pray for while we're on these roads, because you do not know really how, when maybe an accident can really happen to you. But really, for those who are overspeeding, please avoid overspeeding anytime you reach your destination. But really, also not reaching there faster is not the way to go. You really need to also, though, as much as you want to keep time, but I want to call upon each and everybody, maybe also maybe members of the public, to also be vigilant. For instance, if these drivers are overspeeding, you have the rights to tell them that please avoid overspeeding. I want my life. I've left somebody home. Really, this is something also really we have seen these several initiatives also coming up on board to also address, because you realize that so many initiatives have come in place to really also sensitize the drivers. Today we see Uganda Traffic Police doing so many things, where we have seen Vivo Energy also coming up with several other initiatives. All these are to address what we are talking about today, the road accidents. But really, the road accidents also really do not reduce. Coupled with the state of our roads, really you realize that these accidents continue to go on and on. How best can traffic police now address some of these accidents? Because at least each and every morning, right on the show here, at least there's an accident that you need to talk about. And how can we address this? Because really, if you talk to traffic police, they will tell you that they have a lot of streamlined guidelines that they have put in place. For instance, avoiding overspeeding, checking the vehicle conditions. But this do not really very much yield fruits. And we are seeing each and every mornings at least a story of somebody dying as a result of a motor accident or a road accident at least. How best can we address that? That is something also really we need to understand. And the wreckage of the truck, which was first rammed into fish shed, that's at the landing site, before plunging into the water, really was towered. That's by Namayengo Central Police Station, where it is parked for inspection. And the district information officer, Miss Betty Angatia, said the crash left several other people injured who were aboard this vehicle here. So I think this is something also really we need to also work towards, and really to avoid overspeeding, and then also avoid overloading, because definitely we may not be knowing what exactly could be happening to us next. And really this is something also really, if you were to witness, maybe also something that we want to talk about, definitely that would also really be very, very good for us there. And moving away from that, let's head to police, where Kaihura said really he was being frustrated at first when he decided that is the police circle, which is common known as the Exodus, really today, that is booming. And really this is also one thing I must say as somebody out there, you need not to wait for really something to be also really grow. At the end of the day, if at all you want to achieve something, then definitely you need to also really put your goals down, such that at the end of the day, really also you may be also supported. And former Inspector of General Police, that is Kale Kaihura, also says he was frustrated from starting a police circle, vibrant as was Zalendo, which is being run by the UPDF, that is forces today. Really, General Kale Kaihura, 68 years, who served as IGP really from 2005 until March 5th of May 2018, made these remarks during the 18th was Zalendo annual general meeting held, that is at Gaddafi Barracks in Jinja on Monday. And really this is something also we did see also going on there. And Uganda Police Force currently runs as Exodus Circle. Really, that's another circle that we are seeing here, very, very much vivid now picking up. That is really within the members of the police force, where we did see also where these productions must not be forceful, where we did see also really police recently commenting on that issue there about maybe the chopping of the money into that circle there, where it is said it needs not to be forceful, where rather it needs to be voluntary, where these people who have maybe the interest of joining the police force need to be the ones that can join it, because this is got information from Parliament, where there were also allegations of misuse or mismanagement of this money by some of the top bosses that is in the police force there. Now we did see Parliament passing an instruction saying maybe if police is to run the circle, it needs not to be by force, rather by peaceful means. For instance, maybe those who have the ideas, maybe those who want to join the SACCO and need to be also left to join there, but those who are not interested in SACCO needs not to be joining there. So I think that is one reason also why we did see that going on there. But really, with the SACCO growing, this is something also really where maybe the pride goes to him now, that this is where we're seeing General Kale Kaihura now coming out clearly to say it wasn't easy for him to start. That is the Wazalendo SACCO today. You realize that most of the UPDF soldiers, their livelihoods have been improved. That is through the SACCOs here, because you realize that they can easily borrow money for building their houses. They can borrow money that is for also taking part in agriculture, where we have seen them borrowing money for buying animals. And these have all played a role that is in uplifting the livelihoods of the UPDF soldiers there. And Uganda Police today has the Exodus SACCO, where we're also seeing it very, very much playing a growth role there. So I think to avoid all this, maybe tendencies of misuse, maybe mistrust, maybe this process needs to be transparent enough. Maybe those who are in charge of the SACCO also really need to ensure that the monies are properly kept, such that those who do not have the interest in the force can also really join. That is maybe also the SACCO for police and UPDF there, such that their livelihoods also really improved because of the issues of the monies. You realize that most of these people in the forces complain of that little money or meager pay. But with such initiatives of the SACCO, definitely their issues will be addressed. And he added that since that is inception, that is in November 8th of 2007, the SACCO has cumulatively disbursed, that is shillings 2.5 trillion, that is really thereby contributing the members' financial inclusion and independence. The Colonel Joseph Freddy Onata, the Wazalendo SACCO Chief Executive Officer, said at December 31st, 2023, the franchise had a capital of that is 240 billion and savings of that is shillings 445 billion. And outgoing Deputy Chief of Defense Forces Lieutenant General Peter Elelu, who represented the outgoing Chief of Defense, that is Forces, that is General Wilson Mbadi, said there was mistrust by ordinary people for the men in uniform, but the success of the SACCO has absolved them. So I think all these are really inspiring a lot of people. And Lieutenant General, who was appointed senior presidential advisor and for but the Minister President Museveni last week warned anybody who is with the intent of destroying the SACCO. So we want to see the SACCO growing and really over the years, and this way to only grow it is by putting competent officers to run the SACCO there. That would also really address the challenges maybe of mistrust or misuse of the monies there, because if you maybe put people who are maybe corrupt, we may also really see corruption hitting that SACCO there, and this would also really bring in issues of mistrust. And really with that, we come to our first break. This is the Kokoliriko live show, and we are still continuing with you up the hour of 9 a.m. And after 9 a.m., we shall be having, that is the news bulletin in Lubarati with Feta Emmanuel. And at midday, the Lembangea will also be coming through. And not forgetting, for those who speak English like me, the Nilecast also will be coming through at 7 p.m. with the Kumuringa Christian. But for now, let me first have the short commercial break, and I bounce back shortly from now. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13th, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko live show, and we're continuing with you up the hour of 9 a.m. And really, I must say, so many things happened that is right from yesterday and the other day, and really, this is also where we let you know what is happening. That is around West Nile sub-region, that is northern Uganda at large, and not forgetting Uganda at large. Also, really, this is one reason you must be watching the show right from wherever you're watching us from. We say thank you so much, and really, it's a great pleasure having you on board. And really, you can also share with us maybe where you are watching us from and what you think about the discussion, and really how this, what we're discussing maybe could be maybe affecting society, because you realize that so many things have been happening, and really right from that is the region, but really you realize that due to the administrative boundaries that is between Arua district and Arua city, these administrative issues have always maybe affected the progress of the other district here and there. Today you realize that Arua district also has land titles that are said to be within Arua city. You realize that all this is very, very much affecting and also confusing for those ordinary people, because the city now, with the process of relocation, we are seeing exchange of that is land titles here and there, because we realize that these administrative issues have always had challenges, because Arua district also says they want at least move with certain activities, because they want to move with certain property to their new home that is in Odumi, where the district headquarters is going to be, because this is where you realize that the district headquarters for Arua district have been constructed, but currently we have seen them also where they have been running was within Arua city, and now all these are going to be remaining for Arua city. And how best can this be addressed is one thing that they have always raised their complaints to the Minister of Local Government about. And now maybe we are going to be seeing this issue being resolved, because we did see over the weekend, over the weekend also, really at the beginning of the week also, where we did see that is 4,442 land titles handed over to Arua City Council, that is by Arua District. Really, this is something I must say was really very, very good to witness, because all this must be having all the advantages, because if at all this does not happen the way it is, that would also really be very, very bad. Maybe let's have a look at what really did go on at that exercise there. That would also really be quite good, because somebody who is there may not be understanding how these files look like, because you realize that a lot of files, at least 4,442, have now been handed by Arua District to Arua City Council. Let's first have a look at the video, or during maybe the handover of these files. That would also really be quite good as we bounce back shortly.
The leadership of Arua District Local Government officially handed over a total of 4,442 land files to the Arua City Council in a handover ceremony which took place at Arua District Council Hall. The LC5 Chairman, Arua District, Honorable Alfredo Kwanzi, appealed to the Arua District Chief Administrative Officer and Arua City Town Clerk to ensure formality, teamwork and transparency in the handing over of assets from Arua District to Arua City.
We still have lots of assets to be handed over to the city, including the sub-county offices. And therefore, by yesterday, the message I got was that, you see, we had directed the community services to relocate here so that the files go into one of the rooms there. The two rooms can be used by committees for meetings and other things. I would like have to say here that by yesterday, the DCDO, the District Community Development Officer, relocated already. And what Cow needed to do is write to city clerk and formally sit like this and hand over. I would like to appeal to the two, city clerk and the chief administrative officer of Arua district. We are not stopping there. We are also very soon relocating RDC. Very soon relocating Bishop. But we should have documents showing we honorably handed over these things like this one.
I am extremely very grateful, Arua district, that today we are enabling people, because personally I've also been getting very phone calls. People even coming to my office that we have a problem with our land titles. But I knew where the problem was. But now I can quickly direct them and tell them where to go. However, like requested, our doors are going to remain wide open, including mine. RCC, you get any challenge of these files to make life much easier for you, in as far as these files are concerned.
His Worship Honorable Wadri Sam Nyakwa, the Mayor of Arua City, appealed to the Arua District leadership to share space and management facilities for the land files until the City Council can identify a designated space.
This is a main files. We don't really have space, but if you went to our place now where we're handling our land files, it's really pathetic. And other people who have bad intentions, when they accept those places, they can pay for them and go with them. So we are going to achieve this. We have achieved these files. They were not brought here, but let us take them back. Give us a corner there, where people come and sit here. We can share. When you are born, 16 hours don't come until you find some good space. We have been asking for money from the central government. They have given us about 300 million to start an office for the central division. Yesterday I asked them to come and demolish some of those dilapidated structures so that they put here. We were at RCC, because of the issue of space, we're going to take these files, the corner which is previous. I will ask you to deploy police immediately after here. Take charge. And the makes a report to the Minister of Lands.
Charles Ichogo, the Arua's resident city commissioner, thanked the handover team for exhibiting cordial behavior in the handing over of the land files.
All right, that is the leaders of Arua City and the Arua District really sitting together to express ideas and also really exchange these 442 land title files. And really this is something I must say did go on very well there, because you realize that today so many people are fighting that is among their neighborhoods really over land. And really this is something we did see also yesterday, where we did see pupils, that is of a Nyafia primary school, really the P7 candidates avoiding classes really because somebody had done something that is said to be weird, and really where we did see a heap of really something that was packed in Kavera and placed in a bakuli and placed on top of the classroom. And this is something that happened, that is at Anyafio Primary School, and this is something that is believed to have been done really that is in protest of maybe the land wrangle that is going on between the school and one of the neighbors. Really this is something we did see also really happening yesterday, and this forced us on to a stakeholder meeting which was really also attended by the top security leadership of Arua City, also to sit with that they also devise means to addressing this issue there, because this issue, once not addressed well, I must tell you that it will run out of hand, because the lady really who is in fight with the land with the school says actually the school is the one that really entered her land, and really it is said that also this lady came in that area faster than the school. And really this lady is now claiming, because you realize that at least the land that we are talking about in contest is about at least 3 meters, that is from the school, really also where, and the fence where this lady had put her fence, and really also with the school, really also where we did see the line stretching very long, and really where we did see this lady actually opening a gate, because for her to access, that is from where her land, which she fenced is, to also really enter school where she claims it is her garden, and really where we didn't see this issue also really happening. And I believe if this issue is not addressed well, we may also see very, very terrible situations there, because due to this land wrangle, which we think is the cause of what happened yesterday, so many things are now being said here and there to really also to avoid this. Security is now doing its investigations, and this is as far as on who exactly has entered the boundaries of the other. Could it be the school, or could it be the lady? Really, this is something that we do not know as lay people, as the matter is now being investigated by the surveyors and also really technical people to see that they also come out and clearly explain on who exactly entered the boundaries of the land. Because we realize this land was fenced, and somebody comes and opens the gate really to also access the land that he and she claims is hers, and really this is something also really we did see happening very, very bad there. And the school claims where she is maybe planting the yams is actually land that was dug by the school, and only for her to come and plant the yams and really in that land there. And this is something also really we did see happening yesterday. And the school head teacher, really Grace, also really complaining about that matter. They are saying all this is now affecting the school, and when we were on one-on-one with Chandru Grace, the teacher of Anyafia Primary School, she was able to tell us this is now something that is scaring away many teachers, and the land conflict is now also scaring the learners, because of yesterday the learners of P7 class abandoned classes and saying they fear entering classes, and one of the teachers who also is fearing for his life now had to climb up on the wall and remove that thing that was placed on top there, because really you realize that this is something really that scared a lot of people and scared the learners, scared the pupils, as many people could not believe of what they were seeing, and the learners could not also really enter classes until the teachers had to give them a test, and this is a remedial test which actually sent them home. And really this is something also really we did see them, and after that another classroom was allocated for them in the meantime to study from. And really this is something also that we say is very, very bad, and really we did see it happening, but we call upon now also people who are behind that to also really avoid what really happened. And the school is actually pinning the small gate that was created really for being used by maybe also those who are behind that, because for them they say the school gate was closed, and the person who could have done that could have used the small gate maybe to pass through and also really go and do whatever they think that they needed to do, because really this is something we did see happening yesterday, and really you realize that this is something we must also really say is very, very bad and happened there. And really we want to call upon now each and everybody to ensure that such tendencies do not really happen within their societies, because once such things happen, this also scares away very, very many people, and this also really caused a lot of conflict. But maybe if we can also really play for you a video of maybe what happened there, a short video of really maybe what happened there, you could also really realize of what really went on and what we're talking about, because for you to also see what is really we're talking about, that would also really be very, very good. Stay tuned as we also let you know maybe the video of what really happened there and how what we're talking about looks like. Let's first take a look at this video. The fight between the management of Anyafia Primary School in Arua City and Margaret, as a businesswoman who neighbors the school premises, is affecting learning at the school. Today on the 25th of March 2024, primary 7 candidates at the school shunned classes after non-person defecated in the classroom, causing fear among the teachers and the learners, which is believed to be as a result of the land conflict. It is suspected that the persons behind the act of putting human waste in the classroom could have passed via the newly created gate connecting to the landing contest.
Somebody entered through this gate with the poo-poo, fecal matter. They put in P7 class. This is P7 class. Now children came in the morning and something was put up. I told them not anybody. They did wrong to remove the feces outside, but I told them everything should remain intact for you to see. The children came and became wild. They said, "Is a class here? They cannot enter." This is the first time of its kind. Something like this happening here. Two, what is that thing that they put up there? Is it witchcraft?
Now talking about shit in the classroom. Seriously, there are 2 askaris on this compound. But even to the best of my knowledge, thieves came here and broke in and took chairs, sofa, what from the headmistress, her office, from here when there were 2 askaris here who were drunk and sleeping. Possibly that askari was drunk and he went and defecated there. I don't understand that nonsense. Anyway, that is nonsense. And it has nothing to do with me.
During a stakeholder meeting today at the school, Victor Lomori Vidal, the deputy speaker, also doubles as the PTA chairperson of the school, accused Margaret of encroaching on the school land.
And LC1, everybody who bought land here, they will testify their signatories. They signed. They will tell you, this person bought this land in this year. Me, I don't know, but they are here. This is a library of knowledge and information. They will tell you. They even know how she came and got land here. They know it. The size, they know. They will even tell you how she has encroached. They are here. But the issue here is we had decided that let's coexist. She has put her fence already, whether it's encroached or not, it's okay.
However, Asa denies the allegations of encroachment on the 3-meter land, also bordering that of Cassandra Ward, the former member of parliament for Arua City.
It's as if I'm a grabber of land. The history of this land, nobody here.
Well, you realize that these issues of land conflicts between the neighbors and the schools is really going on, not only in Arua City, but we are witnessing this now happening elsewhere. And recently in Mariokolo, where we did see some of the locals who gave land for the construction of these schools are also now coming back to claim. And these are the grandchildren of the parents, or maybe the grandees who also gave these lands, and now they're coming to claim and also really say that they want their land back. And this is one thing that we have also seen happening, and this is maybe this could not be the same situation, but really I must say schools are now going through a lot. But the only way I think schools need to avoid some of these fights is one, through also really leasing their lands and getting land titles for their lands, because once your land is titled, these issues are going to be avoided. And this is where I want to also call upon the land officers of the different cities and districts of West Nile Sub-Region to also really embrace supporting these schools, because you know that these fights today are costing the schools a lot. And really in an interaction with the teacher, she was really very, very much serious. They're telling us this fight is now scaring them, because they do not know how, maybe what next will happen to them, because these fights within the communities and really also between the stakeholders. And she was able to give us maybe of us an example of where she was at. That this was before being transferred to the school there. This was at Onjibo Primary, where sometimes angry people will just come and lock the gates. And really this is something also really that disorganized education, that disorganized learning, because at the end of the day this also really is not very, very good there. So in my own opinion, to avoid all these fights, let the schools now embrace doing one thing, and really, which is quite simple. That is also really through also registering their lands and filing them, also getting land titles for them. That would also really be very, very good, because at the end of the day their boundaries would be identified, because in future also this would avoid tendencies of claiming of ownership, because you realize that these children who are claiming these lands, it is their great-grandparents that gave this land out, because most of these schools had their lands being given, except Anyafa Primary, which land was bought. And really, but really also how it was purchased, we do understand that the process was also not very transparent, because it was maybe also fraudulently sold, because the person who actually gave land that one of the elders shared a lot of history about this land, and really said they actually came into that area. That was 1902, and this school came in later on. And really this is something also really we did see going on there, and really, and how best can this issue be addressed, because today we would not want to see this school also vanishing, because somebody may come out clearly to say that this is their land. And really we would also see also these issues happening in most of the government schools here. And how best can now the schools address this? And the way to go is quite simple. Registering the lands and filing and also getting land titles for them is really the way to go. And if all this is observed, we may also really avoid these tendencies of the fights between also maybe the landowners, the landlords, and the schools themselves, because at the end of the day this destabilizes schools. And I must say this learning process is really very, very much hampered by these fights. So to avoid all those, the way to go, as I said earlier on, is that let the schools save money, and the school administrators let them save money, and also let government come into the rescue of these schools by also really giving titles, also giving the priority to surveyors, to really ensure that all the government institutions have their land titled. Because at the end of the day, if this do not happen, we may also see the local governments also being costed, because if somebody is rightly maybe claiming ownership of these lands, we may see the school ownership also really going on. We may also see maybe the school land being taken away, or being also very, very much compensated there, which would also really have a negative repercussions on the taxpayers' money. And that also really summarizes that discussion. Let's now move to Maracha, where there's a wrangle between Uganda Revenue Authority again and the community members. And really, how best can these fights be avoided? Because really, despite all the several calls and all the several good measures that are being levied by the body, some of the members of the public seem not to be understanding maybe what the body is up to. Because today you realize that there's a recent fight that did go on, that is in Oleba, that is Maracha Town Council, between a trader really who is identified as, that is Aleku David, whose items were recently being impounded, and himself was actually said to be abducted. And we did see this issue going on, and really so many issues have actually been said about this, where we did see a lot of comments and really chaos also emerging there. that is between Uganda Revenue Authority officials and also the people of Maracha Town Council, that is in Oleba, really in the areas of Oleba there. But we must say this issue happened after one of the shop owners and the brothers also to a trader in Maracha district was also impounded and was arrested together with the goods which are said to be smuggled. Really, this is something also really where we did see this happening. But really, how best can URA also avoid the issues of smuggling? And I think also now URA needs to also come out and draw means to averting some of these challenges of smuggling, because really today you realize that the price of fuel have gone that is high in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo today. And really, how best can we harmonize the prices such that if these countries have a uniform price, maybe at the end of the day we may also see smuggling also really being avoided there. But really, where we are still witnessing the prices differing, where the things are more expensive in Uganda than DRC, we are still going to be witnessing tendencies of smuggling. And that to me is also still the gap which to me needs to be addressed, and let the countries sit at the international level. I do understand that Eastern community is already in place, and really if DRC, which is actually one of the members that is said to be joining, also join the body, really they are also really sitting down in terms of harmonizing maybe the currency. And if the countries really speed up with the issues of currency, really a uniform currency that we would be using as East African community, really that would also really be quite good, because all these fights to me may be in the other way or the other affecting, that is the communities, because all this could be happening. Because earlier on this year we did report a case that is between Uganda Revenue Authority enforcement officers, that is the UPDF, attached to the body, shooting innocent people, that is Mariokolo, really where we did see also where one person died, others were injured, which also really forced that is the new commissioner whose contract has actually newly been also been extended. And also we did see him coming up to Arua recently, where it was issued a guideline was issued by the minister, really, who came in really also to see to that also new means are drawn, for instance, to avoid the issues of numberless motorcycle, which is said to be causing a lot of fights. That is between Uganda Revenue Authority together with the locals who actually get these motorcycles smuggled from Democratic Republic of Congo, and they have not been actually purchasing the number plates. And really, the minister also gave out a guideline of also purchasing number plates at half price, that is said to be 750. But really, I must say that is also not what is going on ground, and really where these where we are able to really also move, that is something you realize that is not on ground, and many people are not taking advantage of this, and we still witness a lot of numberless motorcycles, more so the Senkes, that are said to be used for robberies today, and most of them are actually numberless. And really, how best can this also be avoided? That is something I want to also really maybe ask you as the viewer out there. How can URA avoid fighting with the community members, for instance, on the issues of smuggled goods? And really, most of the smuggled goods actually come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And really, we have seen also South Sudan avoid it, because really to cross, that is from South Sudan into Uganda, most of these people come back really complain a lot, where they say their goods were actually arrested at the borders, and that is why they were not able to really come back with a lot of goods. I don't know if they're lying, but really if that is also something that could also really be addressed there. But I believe that is something that could be addressed, if at all that is not the case. But how best can this be addressed? That is something that I want to pose to you as the viewer out there. How best, in your opinion, as the viewer, can URA avoid fighting with the taxpayers, who are the taxpayers really? Because at the end of the day, whether this is smuggled good, council will come and pick money. That is in terms of operations. We have seen taxes being also really got from these people who deal in the smuggled goods, because council has to continue, and this is where we need also money to fund the budget, because really, if at all these monies are not collected, then definitely that is also something that is going to be avoided. And really, if people cannot deal in smuggled goods, that also really affects the tax collection that we are talking about by Uganda Revenue Authority. And how best can this be addressed? Because at the end of the day, you realize that a lot of fights are now emerging, that is between the members of the community and also URA, and among the members of the community themselves, because at times when such issues happen, it leaves community divided, because they start suspecting one person, or maybe so and so, it could be the one who reported us. And definitely that also really fuels conflicts among the members of the society. So I think to avoid all this, there's need for these fights to be addressed. And so many leaders from Maracha district, also did echo out their voices on the trade maybe items that were impounded. And we did see the Maracha chairman, that's Ofeko, also commenting about the same, not forgetting the RDC, Matata Buga, also really also commenting on that matter there. And really this is something we did see also happening, that is Maracha district. and more details into that will be coming later on. That is in the news bulletin of Nilecast. So stay tuned as the news bulletin will be able to come through and let you know of what is happening right in Maracha. So I think to avoid all this, and maybe you have also detailed information, you need to be part of the Nilecast news bulletin, because that is something you will be able to really get through in later on in the due course of the show. So I think also in the due course of the day, where Kokoliriko Christine will be coming through at 7 p.m. as the other news bulletins will also really be letting you know of maybe what happened in Malta subsequently. So to avoid maybe being left behind, you need to be part of the show, because at the end of the day, that is where you're going to be informed, because an informed person is one that I presume will be able to make that is informed decisions. And for you to make informed decisions, you need to also really be watching none but really West Nile television, because definitely this is where we're going to be letting you know of what is happening. And this is the Kokoliriko live show each and every Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me, FARISH Majid. And also as well, some days we bring you experts. And really that is one thing also really I must say you must take advantage of, because at the end of the day, if you get the information from the experts, definitely that is also going to be having an impact on you as a person, because sometimes people believe in the experts more than us, because the experts have the knowledge, they have the information, they have everything it takes. They are the ones who expertise in these fields here. And recently we did have a lot of issues happening right from that's West Nile sub-region, and today we're also witnessing a lot these issues of the killings, where we're witnessing youth being killed, and this is as a result of the issues of criminal gang activities that are on the rise within the city center, and more so Central Division, where we're witnessing a lot of the areas really becoming very, very much bad there. And some of the areas in Ivo Division are also really witnessing the same, where if you move to areas of Idiofe, Yitia, you realize that a lot of youths today are being engaged that is in criminal activities. If you move to Central Division areas, for instance, areas of Tanganyika, areas of Baruku, areas of San Siro, today you realize that all these have been named as black spots. But really, how best can we maybe avoid all this? That is something also really, maybe as experts, they will be able to really tell us where they have failed, because most often they have come up and really also tell us maybe some of the strategies that have been drawing in place, but we're not seeing this yielding results. And yesterday, I must say, one of the youths was actually also being arrested. That was around Capital One there, but was beaten seriously. I must say, this is where we're witnessing these phone snatchers very, very much taking advantage of the population. They are more so when they are snatching women's phones. And that brings us to another short commercial break, and we shall be bouncing back in our second hour. And my name is FARISH Majid. Stay tuned to watching West Nile Kokoliriko live show. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back. Now let's head in. That is to National Unity Platform Party, where we did see Katikiro Maiga keeping NUP leadership guessing. And this is something also we did see happening where the Buganda King Prime Minister Charles, that is Peter Maiga, has actually stirred controversy by abruptly postponing a highly anticipated meeting with the leadership of National Unity Platform Party, where we did see this happening also, where the meeting which was said to take place, that was on Monday, 25th, has been rescheduled. That's for Wednesday, March 27th at the 11 a.m. That's in Bulange, Mengo. And according to sources close to that is the goings on, that's delegation led by National Unity Party Principal Robert Chagulanyi and leadership of opposition, that is Joel Senyonyi, was due to meet with Maiga, and this did not really happened yesterday, and this has actually been postponed, and now for reasons that remain unknown. However, they were unexpectedly informed at short notice, leaving questions lingering over the sudden change of plans and what exactly could have transpired. Maybe also why maybe the Prime Minister could have also really postponed the meeting there with the king, with the leadership there, because this is one of the political parties, I must say, is actually raising the flag and is very, very much affiliated to Buganda Kingdom. So I think this is where we did see also this happening, and the postponement comes amidst growing tension that's between Maiga and NUP, exacerbated by the recent suspension of former leader of opposition in parliament, that is NUP's Parliament Commissioner Matthias Mpuga, which actually really did not maybe go on very well with us. So I think to have addressed and really to also maybe bring in harmony between these leaders there. So there's need really by also the king or the Prime Minister to also really draw that is a peaceful means between these two leaders so that they can work together, because all of them are coming from the same maybe lineage. So I think to avoid all this is where we did see also that happening. And Mpuga, who is reportedly set to address a press conference today, has found himself at odds with the party leadership over allegations that is of corruption and abuse of office. And the rift between Mpuga and the NUP leadership underscores that is broader challenges within the party, rising concerns also really about internal cohesion and accountability. This is where we are witnessing all this also really happening and coming as a result of maybe what could have happening. But what do you think all these fights will be able to put that is the National Unity Platform ahead of that is the come 2026 elections, where we also really not very far away from now, because you realize that most of the parties are restructuring, but when it comes to opposition, we are still witnessing a lot of fights where we may also really see more political parties than what we had before. So I think we are also going to be following this keenly, and maybe who exactly will be able to start off their own political party and where exactly where they will also really be affiliated. So I think to avoid all those, I will be able to also really let you know of what exactly could be happening there. And as both sides navigate the delicate situation, that all eyes remain fixed on the upcoming developments and whether the postponed meeting will lead to a resolution on the matter to further discuss the matter. That is something that we shall be able to let you know maybe later on. So I think to avoid all those, there's need now for us to also really keep on following that, because at the end of the day, all this will be able to also really will be happening there. And still within National Unity Platform Party, 4 arrested as police recover, that is shillings 85 million stolen, that is from Segona. This is something also really we did see happening, where police revealed on Monday they have recovered, that is at least shillings 85 million out of the 118 million that was stolen last week from Busiro's East Member Parliament, that is made at Segona. And addressing journalists on Monday, that's in Kampala, the Deputy Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson, that is Luke Owesijere, said the money was stolen by the opposition MP who had taken his car, that is to a washing bay in Kakeka Zone, Rubaga Division, Kampala. Really, we did see that also really happening, and it is alleged that on March 8th, really, Mr. Segona parked his car at the Saga washing bay, that's in Kakeka Zone, to be washed before handing it over to Simwe. Really, this is something also where we did see this issue of maybe that worth of money really being recovered there. But really, the question is, how would you move with such a huge amount of money really in the car just like that? That is also where I want to ask my question now, because really you realize that money would have been maybe used or could be transferred in a way that could also really be very, very transparent there. So I think to avoid all this, really you realize that a lot of issues need to be done, and really this is something also really we did see going on there with that NUP MP there. But I must say, all this could not be happening very, very well there, because at the end of the day, this money that is really 118 million is a lot of money, really. So I think to avoid all people moving with all these monies, let maybe them have also other means, or maybe of being transported, or maybe hiring bodyguards, because today we have a lot of security companies that could have aided in transporting this money here. We have quite many today that really assist in money transfer. So I think to avoid all this, maybe risks of maybe also moving with this money, because you can be gunned down by goons, because at the end of the day, if they realize that you have the money, that maybe that such amount, they can really do certain things that you may not also really maybe want to see, because really that money is quite huge. So I think to avoid that, that is something that maybe all the people out there need to avoid. And last Thursday, Mr. Segona told journalists at Parliament that the suspects took advantage of a phone call that he received to steal the money from the car. So I think at which he was also seated. So I think to avoid all this, really, there's need for people to avoid carrying certain amounts of money, maybe in their disposal, or maybe in their cars. That to me would also really be quite good there. Really, that would also really be quite fortunate. Maybe for him to also recover part of that money that was stolen, because all would have gone. But at least if he has recovered some, that is also really quite good, because at the end of the day, he's not losing everything. And that's another discussion to NUP. And now let's move to NRM, where Minister Chitutu vows to step up NRM mobilization. That is something also really we did see on the papers. And really also, she said she was addressing that hundreds of locals during celebrations to mark the annual March 8th Women's Day in Butiru sub-county, really, where we did see this happening in Butiru Town Council, that is Manafa district, during the weekend. And really this is something also really we did see happening. And really the former Karamoja Affairs Minister, Dr. Mary Goreti Kitutu, has actually vowed now to step up her efforts in mobilization for the ruling government, that's of NRM, after being sacked by that President Museveni. So I think this is something also we did see happening, and she made these remarks, and really to see that she also steps up. That's in maybe a mobilization strategy that is for the NRM party there, because this is the party that she is affiliated to, and this is a party, so definitely she has to do a lot. That is in terms of working for this party here. So I think really that is something that is good for her, because at the end of the day, this is the party if they believe in, because really that is something also really we expect her to do now. And that is one thing that really some other discussions with, and really we, as we continue to move on, yesterday we did have the sports games going on in Arua City, and I will be able to let you know maybe later on, because we still have a lot of time, as maybe what school actually won the games there. So you realize that just if I can be able to give you a brief hint, it is Mvara and the Diofe girls who are actually declared the winners, and really I will be able to let you know maybe over what school and how they won, and where next for them will be able to come later on, and maybe which districts they're going to be facing, because you realize most of these districts are actually taking part in that is the games there. But I must say, want to congratulate them, and that is something also really we must also really ensure that we talk about, and really that is something also which would be quite good there for these maybe also these people also really to also go on and with that, and that is something also really we must also really talk about. Moving on, yesterday there was a statistic that scared very many people, where it is said that 9.2 million Ugandans can't read and write. That means that really there's a lot that needs to be done with our education system, because if you really look at 9.2 million, that is quite a huge number. And this is according to information that we got from, that is, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, which is actually the body that is responsible for registering, that is, all the businesses, all the marriages, all the other issues that is in relation to registration. So I think this report really must also be a source of worry to mostly you, the Ugandan, who may be also really scared of what is happening, because somebody out there may also not be knowing of what exactly that huge number means, because 9.2 million is really something that really is quite huge, and where it is said that 9.2 million Ugandans don't know how to read and write, it means that they're illiterate. So I think all this could be a source of scare to many people, because some people believe in our education system because they say our education system is the best. And right from primary, maybe primary 1 up to primary 7, we realize that most of our learners know how to read and write already. But where do the 9.2 million Ugandans come from? That is the question maybe I should be asking myself out there. Maybe also you, to the viewer, could be asking yourself out there. So I think 9.2 million is quite huge a number. So I think all this maybe could be happening for different reasons, but I believe the 9.2 numbers do not lie, because really you realize that today many people actually do not want to go to school. Most of our learners don't want to go to school. You see them loitering within the schools around the areas. They do not enter the gates, and that is why strategies of also fencing the schools is coming up. You realize most of the schools actually now undertaking fencing. And if you move to Arua City, you realize most of the schools now have been fenced. At least 90% of them have been fenced. And several initiatives are actually also there to address the issues of escapism from school, really. And I believe all this is the way to go. So I think to avoid all this, the issues of maybe the 9.2 million needs to be addressed. For parents, you need to take your children to school. Avoid tendencies of leaving the children home, because if you not really take your child to school today, that next year or in the coming years, your child could maybe be of the 9.2% category. So I think to avoid all this, there's more that needs to be done as far as taking children to school. So I think children need to go to school, and because that is the age where it is also really very much prudent for people to also really also undertake going to school there. That would also really be quite good there. And still relatedly to education, and this time around to in Terego district, condemned Terego classroom block renovated after 78 years. That is something that we are seeing on the papers here as we talk about the infrastructure. And this time around in relation to the school, pupils and teachers of St. Paul II Primary School, that is in Katuni Sub-County in Terego District, the West Nile Sub-Region, on Monday wept, that is with joy, after completion of renovation and condemned classroom block that was constructed, that is 1946. So I think that is something also we did see bring a lot of joy and excitement among the learners that is in Terego district there. And previously the classroom was leaking, they had leaking roofs which did not have doors and windows, and the floor had that is holes. Now all this is going to be addressed, and I believe that is something we may also really see happening. And the pupils and teachers are saying lessons will be suspended, especially during rainy seasons. And as a result of high numbers and classroom that was condemned, some of the pupils were made to study under tents erected by UNHCR and UNICEF. And really this is something also really we did see happening in the school there. Now with the construction, I believe issues of maybe also learners not going to school is now going to be addressed. For instance, the issues of maybe the weather, because once it starts raining and the rains are dropping, and with these issues of leaking roofs, it becomes very unsafe for the learners to also really continue studying there, because we never know, wind, also blowing wind may also really come and also put the roof down, which may also injure the pupils and the students at large. So I think to avoid all this, that is why the issue of the renovation of the school is quite important there. And the head teacher, Mr. David Andresley, said that the weekend that we are filled with joy today, because the classroom really that was old and in appalling state has now been given a facelift. The renovation by the American Towers Corporation will now live for generations to come. So I think this is quite a good initiative, and really where we also want to see more of this private sector engaging, because private sector really has a great role in terms of supporting government and that is why it is very, very much important. And for this telecommunication company, really abbreviated as ATC, American Tower Company, really, we want cooperation, we want to also congratulate you, and we want to also call upon the rest to embrace the same, and that is in terms of also really putting up structures that would at the end of the day also really support the education sector, because recently when we were attending, that is the DO municipal, that is the municipal education district and the city education officers retreat that was at Moni NTC recently, it was alleged that it was also really that sometimes when the resources are very meager, the private sector very, very much has to come out and support, and that is why most of them we actually called aboard to really also talk about also the support, which also supporting the education system, because the education system actually calls for concerted efforts, and of which that would also really be very, very much realistic. That is from the private sector, for instance, also the non-governmental organizations that are in place, which are also playing a great role, and which they also need to do more, because today you realize that so many NGOs are coming up in place, and the CBOs also as well can support the education sector of this country to also really grow. That is in terms of also really achieving what we want to also really see it achieving. Then the renovated classroom block was built, that is 1946, while the school was started, and the school, according to Mr. Andres Lee, has an enrollment that is of 1,823 pupils, and really that is something also really we must also really congratulate them for. And during his visit to the school, the United States Ambassador to Uganda, William Pope, say the renovation underscores the support that is by the American government to community. We need to build the future of these young people, and really also we all know the power. We are committed to continue partnering, that is with the government in education. And recently, during the visit of that is the American ambassador really to Arua City, and he actually moved that is up to Arua Regional Referral Hospital, and a number of facilities which are being supported and funded by the American government, which to me is quite good. And we also say kudos to them, because at the end of the day, really you realize that if these countries do not support our education sector, we continue to lag behind, and really where the resources are very, very much meager. And really I believe also government needs to maybe in the next financial year budget to also really upgrade or also really increase on the funding that is for the education sector. And that does not really come like that. It means that we, the taxpayers, also have to fulfill our mandate. That is in terms of paying taxes, in terms of also really ensuring that the government has the monies to also really take care of the budget. So I think to avoid dependence that is on maybe the funders or the donors, we, the citizens, have the mandate to play in terms of paying our tax and in terms of also fulfilling our duties as citizens, that is to pay the taxes. And last year, the American Tower Corporation CEO, who visited the school following the construction of the new school block, promised to renovate the old block, and that is something we did see also. Last year, we did see also them also unveiling another classroom block that was also furnished and also really fully funded by the ATC. So the Councillor of Kaltini Sub-County Interego District, Mr. Moses Mandebo, will say we need to protect the structures from encroachment and vandalism from the community members. It is a great transformation of the classroom block where children can now learn in a conducive environment. So I think environment that is very, very much conducive also really promotes that is studying there, and that is one reason also the area councillor, that is Moses Mandebo, is actually also calling upon the people of that area now to also really ensure that they take care of the classroom block properly, because at the end of the day, if we not also take care of them, you realize that the windows, also the classroom, also the windows, the glasses could be vandalized, also destroyed by the community members there. So I think the community members have to own the structures, also have to own what is coming up on board, because it is going to help their children, it's going to help their great-grandchildren, and it's going to help the next generations to come, because this issue, maybe the school was constructed in 1946, and you can just imagine how many pupils are passed through the same school, and then maybe how many after the renovation are going to come and still pass through the same block. So I think to avoid maybe tendencies of negligence by the community members, there is need for mindset change so that these issues are avoided. And most districts across Western Sub-Region, students and pupils are forced to learn either under trees or condemned classroom blocks after really also these structures becoming dilapidated. So I think to avoid all this, this is why government also needs to come out clearly to renovate these facilities. And most of the affected schools tend to suspend classes during rainy seasons. And this is one thing we did see also happening. That is in Terego district, in this school that is now being renovated. And the most affected are the government's aided and community schools. So I think to avoid all this, definitely we need to also join hands. And parents, you too also have a role to play in terms of supporting these schools here, because the mandate of building these schools does not only lie in the hands of government alone, but rather you also too is a stakeholder in terms of supporting these classroom blocks there. That would also really be quite good for you and your children out there, because these schools are going to support you, first of all, in terms of enrolling your children and really also accepting your children as well, and your great grandchildren would also really maybe pass through the same school. So I think to avoid all this, that is also something that we want to see also happening there, and that would also really be quite good, and to avoid tendencies of maybe also really these schools remaining dilapidated. So I think that is a kudos for that organization there to also really also help. That is in terms of also developing that area there, that would also really be quite good. So I think to avoid all those as we move with the show, and really that is something I must say did go on yesterday, and really that also really brings us to another issue that is yet on the papers here. This is one thing also really want to let you know, because we did not exclude anything. We have to let you know of everything that is happening right across the region and the national level, internationally. This is one reason also you must be watching the Kokoliriko live show. At the end of the day, it is one show that is going to keep you informed. And really to avoid all this, there is more that you need to do as a stakeholder, because really that classroom block that is being also constructed needs to be supported, and really that is also something we also really want to talk about. And moving on from that, let's now move to the killing of Susan Magara, where the Susan Magara cried out to her family for help. Witnesses tell court. That is something also really we are seeing on the papers this morning. And the digital forensic examiner on Monday told court that is in Kampala that slain Bwendoro Diary Kasia, that is Susan Magara, cried out to her family to pay her kidnappers ransom in order to regain her freedom. And really this is something also really we did see going on really, and up to now the investigations are still continuing, and really when shall we have a final report about this murder here? Really that is something that we are waiting to see, because most of these killings always have maybe tendencies of taking long that in terms of investigations, but really how and maybe when shall we get a comprehensive report that would also really summarize this issue there? That would also really be quite good there. And really Director of Forensic Services under Department of Cyber Crimes Unit of Uganda Police told court that he examined the exhibits that he presented to him and found a video of a lady crying and pleading with the parents to do what was required for her to regain her freedom without involving the police. This is something also really we did see happening there, but really maybe the family couldn't listen to maybe what the abductors were asking for, and they actually had to go on with the killing, and they could have maybe involved police, which was really against what they were demanding. But really I must say we continue for our soul to rest in eternal peace. Well, now we also want to call upon police to also speed up investigations in terms of letting us, the public, to know who exactly is behind the killings there. And Mr. Kenene, who is the 18th state witness, was testifying in a case in which 9 people are accused of killing Magara in February 2018. So I think this is something that happened way back in 2018. Up to now, investigations in the matter are continuing. So I think these long investigations are really also really maybe making the public have doubt. That is in terms of who exactly is behind the killings there. So I think it also brings the issue of credibility, where maybe the investigators or maybe the prosecutors could also really be doubted, because it takes long, and once these take long, then definitely that also really puts the issues maybe of who the killers are also at risk. So according to Mr. Chinene, the digital department deals mostly in cyber crimes and computer, where they provide services which are technical to investigation and crime intelligence in general, help the office of the directorate, that's the public prosecutions, and the judicial at large in retrieving digital evidence using international accredited devices. So I think that is also something we did see, and the witnesses also told court, presided over by that is Justice Alex Ajiji, that a memory card that 3 consent letters of Mr. John Magara, Flora Magara, and Immaculate Kabajugi we are among the exhibits that he received. So I think information from their 3 telephones from the 2 days suspects that had contacted them about their daughter also really was also very much retrieved there. So I think really we need now a comprehensive report on what exactly happened and who exactly the killers of this innocent lady are. So I think we need to know them, because really at the end of the day you realize that so many killings continue to go on. For instance, the use of guns. Up to now we see when the gun issue happens, we see the police and other investigators coming to the scene of crime and picking evidence. But really when it comes to also cross-examinations, also the results, we are taking really long. So I think there's need for us to also really maybe know of what exactly is happening, because we want to also really know what exactly is happening. Because at the end of the day, if that does not happen, definitely we also really may lag behind in terms of information. So we want to know what exactly and who exactly the killers of these innocent Ugandans are, because each and every year at least there's an issue of a gun reported. And where these guns come from and who exactly are behind these issues, that is something I do not know. Really, we also expect information that is from the experts in security, because they are the ones who major in that field, and also to let us know of what exactly could be happening. So I think to avoid all this, there's need for also people to know of what is happening, and that is something that we, at the end of the day, we want to know, because as people of this nation, we are entitled to getting information from them, because we are the ones also catering for them. So I think we need answers in terms of who exactly the killers of these killings are. Definitely that will also really make us very, very happy there. And moving on, Museveni fighting corruption will be against his own government, says Senyonyi. That is something we are seeing on the papers this morning here, where the leader of opposition parliament, that is Honorable Joel Senyonyi, said President Museveni is not interested in anti-corruption efforts because he will be fighting against his own government officials. So I think that is something also we did see Senyonyi also talking about there. But how realistic is that statement? That is something I did not know. And some make these remarks. I really rebuked that after who accused Parliament Speaker Anita Among of misusing billions of money, because we realized that over the week, where we have been witnessing a lot of allegations being levied that is against the Speaker of Parliament here and there, and recently during the commissioning of the hospital that was built by the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament Anita Among in Bukedea, which is actually going to be a school also, maybe also training that is health workers, that will also really be quite good. And during the commission of the hospital, we did see that is President Museveni also really very, very much vividly defending that is Right Honorable Anita Among there. So I think that is something also really we need to also really understand. But really, how realistic will this be? That is something also really I'm posing out to you, the viewer, and that's in terms of the statement that is made by Honorable Joel Senyonyi, who is actually the leader of opposition in Parliament, who actually recently also replaced that is Matthias Mpuga, who is now at conflict with some of the members at NUP. So I think really there's a lot that needs to be done, and at the end of the day, really we expect maybe answers as to what could be happening. That also really tells us maybe what is happening within the country. So I think all this will be able to maybe also show us an image and really where we are heading to, because if you realize that within this period here, people are strategizing here and there. The political leaders are also very, very much active in the areas where they want to also really aspire. You see them actually doing a lot now in their constituencies, and really also ensuring that they work together to also with the masses to also ensure that they get the favors come 2026, because 2026 is not very far. And right now the EC has not yet officially given the mandate for people to also really start making strategies in politics. But I must say we are witnessing politics very, very much vividly portraying itself there, because if you move within the lower local governments, you realize that those who have the interest, for instance, as councillors, or within the local governments, even those who want to aspire as MPs, their groups already maybe also flaunting their flags here and there, their posters, and we continue following up the issues. And that is one reason you must always watch the Kokoliriko live show, because that is one show where you will be able to also really be informed as a person, and this is where you're also going to be knowing of who exactly has interest maybe in what. It is the reason why you must always watch us. For now, let me first have another short commercial break, and when I bounce back, I will be giving you what happened in the world of sports yesterday and what could be happening today. So stay tuned to watching West Nile Television.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023, live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. As we head into the evening of the show, I must say you're most welcome. In case you're just joining us right now, this is the Kokoliriko live on West Nile Television. And from wherever you chose to watch us, we say it's a great pleasure having you on board this morning here. And now to summarize today's discussions with what is happening in the world of sports. Yesterday we did see the games, that is for Arua City Ball Games 2 coming to a close. That is for the post-primary secondary school games. And I must say, we did see a lot of issues happening here and there where some of the members of the community also became rowdy, which had to call for police and security intervention by tear gassing most of the fans. And this is something where we did see happening in Barifa after Mvara Secondary School was able to wallop, that's Arua Secondary School, that is 4-0. And this was to me enough as a revenge, because last year, if you realize that, you really get to know that Mvara Senior Secondary School lost, that's actually to one of the secondary schools, that's Arua Secondary School, but this time round, it was actually Mvara Secondary School who have been declared winners, that is of Arua City Ball Games 1. This is Ball Games 1, where we're witnessing a lot of issues, for instance, of girls football, which actually was taken by, that is St. Mary's Idiofe Girls, after beating, that is Moni Girls, by 1-0. And really, we did see actually a lot of jubilant moments, that is by the students, that is of Idiofe Girls, who actually lifted the trophy, and they were able to move, that is right from Barifa up their school with a trophy. That is something which actually maybe motivated a lot of the learners. Now we want to see more girls actually engaging, that is into boys football and maybe in football, because which was initially said to be for men. And over the years in Arua City, we have not been having, that is the competition really for boys, for football, really for girls, really. And now we are seeing that happening. And what does that really also call upon for? It means that the girls actually whose talent we did see yesterday, because some of the girls were actually able to display that really what boys can do. Girls can do it better, because I was really able to see girls who were able to possess the ball and be able to also pass it here and there, which was really quite exciting. And really, I must say, I actually enjoyed watching the game that is between the two teams there. Really, I must say now the girls have a lot to do when it comes to issues of also girls football being promoted. So I think now there's need for stakeholders to really also promote this football in this region. And maybe in the near future, we may also have clubs, because today we have football clubs that is for girls also really in the other parts of the region. And unfortunately, in the West Nile sub-region we have, though they're not booming very, very much vividly. So I think with such initiative, we are going to be identifying so many talents that could be also incorporated into the local clubs that could be set up really for girls football here and there. That would also really be quite good. Because the last encounter I had for girls football training really was actually one that was by Olema, which was at police ground. But I don't know what happened up to now. I can no longer see the girls training. I don't know what happened, where the team went. But I must say it is quite good seeing those girls actually displaying the talent that they had, really, which was really quite exciting. And I believe so many people in the university were also able to see how the girls can also really display their games there. And really, if you can briefly also show you some video of what transpired and how people were tear gassed. And these are the fans who were actually said to be wanting to attack the other. So police had to intervene by actually deploying very much heavily there. And the UPDF also as well deployed very much there. And we have not had any cases, that is, of killings yet, as we shall be able to solely move, that is, to police to find out if there's any information that may be in terms of arrest, because at the beginning of the tournament, those who were questioned against hooliganism, because hooliganism is one thing that is said is not wanted by the city. So many students were arrested, and most of the students were actually below 18 years. We really wonder how a child whom you send home and is below 18 years actually coming to school and start engaging, that is in this unweird and uncalled for practice, that would also really be quite bad there. So I think as parents, there is need now to also really have time with your children and tell them also to desist from some of these tendencies that would also really not be quite good there. Most of the districts now have already their winners who are going to be representing at the next level. That is games that will be taking place, that's in Koboko. And Terego already have their winners. Maracha as well have their winners already, as we also did witness Yumbe finals are coming to a closer, and that means that most of the winners from these local governments within Western Nile sub-region are now known, with the exception of one, which we will also be able to let you know maybe who will be able to win it come today, because I do understand that their games will be able to go today, and we shall be able to sort of let you know which exactly will be qualifying from that as we await for the regional leagues, because the regional league is where we shall be seeing maybe the teams and the schools representing us at the national scene there. So I think there's need, and we wish them very, very well, and those maybe the students from various, we want to congratulate you for upon winning that trophy there. And not forgetting those of the Diofe girls, and really for those who did not win, next time is there. We want to say you can also really do very, very much when it comes to being winners there, because reaching finals, I must say, is not an easy thing, but really being walloped 4-0, maybe luck was also not on their side. But that also summarizes the discussion in terms that's in relation to the ball game ones, that is for the secondary schools, and as we await for ball games 2, that is athletics, that is supposed to be taking place in second term now, because all these changes are made, that is to incorporate all these games to also really make sure that these students participate in all games, because really sports is actually one of the components that is under Ministry of Education and Sports, because usually we say work without play makes Jack a dull boy. So I think to avoid also the tendencies of keeping children in class, learning here and there where it is a bit tedious, also involving the learners in sports is the way to go, because this also refreshes their brains, and also sports plays a crucial role, because those who may not be able to know that they are the talents could actually also be identified through these games, and it could also really maybe act as a lifetime source of income for them. That would also really be very, very good for them, because today we have had also our boys within Western Nile sub-region who are actually earning from their legs, which is something I must say where they're earning a lot of money, which is quite good there, because not everybody is going to pass through classroom. Others have to use other means, and then talent is actually one that could also really earn a lot of money for them, and football in Western Nile sub-region, I believe, is there. So I believe also there's need for now the sports sector to be supported as we await for our sports facilities to be developed, and really where we did see being vandalized to that extent, which has actually caused also for one of our clubs to be demoted, which is really quite unfortunate. That means that really for those who are able to witness the games there, I don't know how those who vandalized the facility are feeling, because really you must also really not be very, very well there, because if you saw what you did, and then definitely where the facilities roots have been removed, where it is really quite bad, and the facility is now very, very much dilapidated. So I think government now needs to come up and develop that area, which would also really be quite good in terms of developing it, because we had strategies in terms of developing it that is in memory of, that is Docas in Jikuru, but up to now we have not seen that happening. But really, if government and maybe also the Pamoja bid is actually to identify that as one of the facility, that to me would be quite good, because the Pamoja bid is actually one that we are waiting to see. And if maybe if Uganda is supposed to host maybe the AFCON in one of these facilities, maybe for instance in the Barif or Arwahil, that to me would be quite good, because really these are facilities that need to be developed. But I must congratulate Povterego, where I'm seeing a lot of efforts in terms of developing that stadium there in Leju, which would also really act as a sports facility. And I must say I'm much impressed about that, because being a sports lover, definitely such developments need to be acknowledged. So moving away from that, where we did see a lot of maybe international friendlies going on, in some of the results that we did see happening, that is yesterday, Guatemala did play with Venezuela and the game ended 0-0, where we did see also that's Puerto Rico also play with Belize, the game ended 3-0 in favor of Belize. Central African Republic also played with, that is Papua New Guinea, where the game ended, that is 4-0 in favor of, that is Central African Republic. And Botswana also played with Burundi, and the game ended, that is 0-0. Madagascar also played with Rwanda, and Rwanda was able to win the game by 2-0. Tanzania also played with Mongolia, and Tanzania was able to wallop, that is Mongolia, by 3-0. Sri Lanka played with Bhutan, and the game ended, that is in 2-0 in favor of, that is Sri Lanka there. So I think these are games that really did go on. Azerbaijan also as well played with Bulgaria, and the game ended, that is in a 1-1 draw. Not forgetting Cyprus also playing with Serbia. Serbia was able to win the game by 1-0. And Montenegro also played with, that is North Macedonia. North Macedonia was able to lose that game to Montenegro there by 1-0. And Sweden also played with Albania, and Albania was able to win this game by 1-0. And Cape Verde also played with Equatorial Guinea, and Equatorial Guinea also lost the game that Cape Verde by 1-0. And Guinea also played with Bambuda, and the game ended 5-1 in favor, that's of Guinea. And not forgetting Gabon that did play with Congo, and the game ended, that is in a 1-1 draw. And that is one thing that summarizes our today's discussion. And I must say, we also thank you so much, whoever watched us right from the time it began. And up next is the news bulletin in Lubarati with Feta Emmanuel, who is right on your screen, smartly dressed. And I must say, he's also in the kitchen cooking what he's going to be giving you in the language that you must also be knowing very, very well there. That is the Lubarati language. Because for those who do not know the language, then definitely you may not be able to sort of understand what he's saying. But still, you can also maybe listen to him. For those who want to learn the language, that would also really be quite good. Most especially for those who are watching us maybe from abroad and you miss the language, then definitely the Lubarati news bulletin is coming through in a short while from now. And my name is FARISH Majid. In a special way, I want to thank whoever watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say thank you so much, and we shall be able to bounce tomorrow. That is for the same show and at the same time and the same frequency, and maybe from the same channel where you watched us from. We say thank you so much. Up next is the news bulletin in Lubarati with Fete Emmanuel. Stay tuned.